Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And we're back.
Nintendo Switch. I think you've moved closer. Okay, let's just go straight to worries then. We don't have any freaking hatreds, but we don't have a lot we love.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's all concerns.
Because Nintendo has been very tight-lipped about this so far, and that's kind of the problem we have right now. At least I have right now. I don't know about him.
And even the release information wasn't enough to allay our concerns.
Right. So, the thing that he was talking about with the dock, or whatever they're going to call it.
Bob's dock.
I'm just going to call it dock. It's Bob's dock. You take the whole thing, you have to place it into this Wii-looking gigantic hollow thing, whatever it is, and you have to remove the controls. Bit of a toaster. We're going back to the Nintendo toaster with cartridges. What do you know?
The Nintendo toaster. So you take out your middle piece of your
Nintendo toaster.
I had this.
He did it again. Of your
and you put
Switch.
Switch. What a stupid name.
Every time we tell him, it's like he has Alzheimer's. What is that thing called again? Switch.
Old-timers?
What a dumb name. It's old-timers. You have Alzheimer's disease.
And you put it in the toaster, as long as your toaster is connected to the TV.
And plugged in.
Your Switch
set
into
to
the
3
toaster.
heat. Very specific. Set to 3 heat.
It's not even really a switch, because you don't switch from mobile gaming to platform gaming. You insert your Switch into a toaster.
You said platform. You mean console?
The entire platform is a console.
Right.
With a mobile piece.
Right.
That is nothing switching going on.
So you're saying it's a
I'm saying it's two
it's a
different
handheld
freaking
console
things.
Second.
No, it's a handheld. It's basically a really good handheld console first.
Alright.
It is a super version of
The 3DS.
No.
The Wii.
Because not touchscreen, it doesn't have two screens. Therefore, it's a throwback to the Game Boy Advance. It's a superb Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
If you want to say that. It's just like the ultimate Game Boy Advance. But it also can be inserted into a small toaster so that you can play it on your big screen TV at 1080p. Is that what they said?
It's the rumors now.
It's like
I'm
900.
Not sure have anything there.
The awesome thing is it sounds like it's 900p for the portable
screen, yeah.
Which is awesome. Again, it's a super Game Boy Advance. And then you plug it into your toaster and you can play it on the TV.
Right.
Not any toaster. Don't
jam this in the toaster. Do not
6
jam
months
this
from now,
in your
do
toaster.
not jam the Switch in your toaster. God, that sounds stupid.
Jam your Switch in your toaster.
Hit the Switch on your toaster.
He mentioned when you put it in.
I didn't want the eBay stuff back. The eBay supplies are in the rear of the picture.
Only over here. It's way off. Anyway, so when you put it on the dock and you set it up to your TV, it showed them just sliding it out. I'm wondering how easy it'll be to slide it out.
We've already seen a GIF of a kid, a little animated character, holding it, and it just goes boop and cracks on the ground while he's still holding the controller pieces.
Which is one of our worries.
Which is funny because it was the first thing we thought of when we saw them remove the controller things and put it into... We'd already heard this was probably going to happen, but the way it is done, where they go up and then down into the portable part, is not exactly what we were thinking. We were thinking some sort of separation and then reattachment so that there would be some gravitational juxtaposition. Instead, it's all the direction that it would fall.
That vocab, though.
Should.
Gravitational juxtaposition.
Shut it. The direction of gravity appears to be the same as the removal of the system from the controllers.
Direction of gravity is the same as the removal of the gravitational.
What were you saying?
What?
So it's not a hatred of the design, it's just a concern.
It's a concern of the functionality.
And one that other people have obviously had.
Yeah.
It did not take that GIF long to get out there.
No.
Somebody had to draw it, animate it, put it on the internet, and then we had to see it all within a few hours. So.
Yep. That's one of my biggest concerns, though. You put it in, how easy is it going to be to remove those two places? Are you going to have to remove them, then drop it into the dock?
That's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
If you're lazy, can you just drop the whole thing into the toaster? We're calling it a toaster, right?
Good enough.
We're calling it's not a dock, it's a freaking toaster.
It's a toaster.
You drop the piece of toast in the toaster. Oh, that's what it should be, the Nintendo Toast.
The Nintendo Toast.
I would endorse the Nintendo Toast.
Hashtag Nintendo Toaster.
Hashtag Nintendo Toaster. We win. We won the internet.
Victory. Victory.
Okay. We were talking about dropping it in the toaster and then playing on the other controller because it's got another controller that you can use that looks oddly reminiscent of a Microsoft controller. It's like they gave up on designing their own and just said, "Oh, this is a good idea."
Well, the Wii U was like, we make it suit this. Let's move this little thing here and that one here.
Yeah. Other concerns. Okay, you started one. I'm going to start one. Battery life.
Yeah, that was a big one.
They didn't mention anything about battery life, and I'm scared. The machine itself apparently has to dock to charge. Makes sense.
We'll assume that.
We're assuming. Well, I'm not going to say has to. I'm going to say it definitely will charge when it's docked.
We'll assume.
Quit assuming.
I'm assuming.
It's going to have to charge sometime because there really wasn't any battery slots on it for it to have removable batteries. And if it did, you'd be looking at probably 10 AAA batteries across the back of that sucker. Right. And nobody's going to go for that in this day and age. So rechargeable battery system.
Even the Game Gear is because nothing had
probably
6.
a non-removable battery system. Sort of a...
Everybody else is doing
every cell phone ever, really. I mean, they're removable, but they're not happily removable. No. That system will be rechargeable. It looked like, though, that when they were displaying it, if you watch the commercial closely, they show it in a vehicle with the little screen and the two kids trying to play at the same time on the little teeny screen. Relatively teeny screen. It looked like it might have a power cord that charges with the TV. I mean, charges with the car. So the cigarette lighter adapter. Are people still know that it was a cigarette lighter, or are they just calling it the power outlet for cars now?
I think it's just the adapter. Do they even still have cigarette lighters in cars?
Seriously, I'm sure they do.
They don't? They don't? Do they?
If you look on Mom's car, it just says outlet.
Yeah, it does say adapter, doesn't it?
Yeah, or I think it says outlet. It's an adapter outlet. Yeah. So if anybody doesn't remember it being a cigarette lighter, I'm sorry. I guess I'm fine. I'm sorry. I'm happy, actually, that we've come that far in our society that something that was designed because so many people smoked has been made almost obsolete because so few people smoke now. It looks like there will probably be some sort of adapter. So you could plug this thing into your wall to keep it charged or run it off the wall charger and the adapter charger in a car. If they're not cigarette lighters anymore, can't we just change how that is? Can't we just make it like a USB charge point? I do wonder why that is. Okay, we're just... Well, it's kind of standardized now. We're just talking out loud. Every time you have an adapter, it's always shaped like you're screwing the socket. You ever look at it, you're screwing the socket. Don't argue with me. You're screwing the socket, okay? Don't argue with me. You're screwing the socket. Earlier we broke the internet. Now he's breaking me. We're talking about battery life. Battery life. Battery life for the main portable screen is a big problem. Unless, of course, you do have an adapter to charge it just about anywhere you are. Oh, it's too standardized. So those adapters will probably be sold separately. Yeah, look, though, so you'll need one for the cars, one for USB, and one for a regular wall outlet. And those will be sold separately, so there's an additional expense if you really want to travel a lot with this thing. Yeah. Otherwise, you just keep it in your home. You can probably charge it in the station, take it around the house, play it for a while, put it back in the station. But if you look, the separated pieces that are the controller ports are the controllers that go on the side of the station also operate as independent little tiny controllers. Right. Which is actually kind of cool, but they're so small. They're really tiny. Big fingers are going to have a problem. I don't see a lot of and again, NFL, like I said earlier, I don't see a lot of NFL linemen playing Madden on these little suckers. But people my size or smaller shouldn't have a problem, I guess. Kids wouldn't have a problem, except, again, we're not marketing this to kids. It seems like it now. It seems like it. Nintendo's not going to market this to kids, looks like. But those things are going to have their own battery power as well. If they are also built-in batteries, that means they're going to have to attach to the bigger piece to keep charged. If they have their own battery supply, at least as a backup, it's going to have to be small, like a AAA. or a watch battery of some kind, which would probably not be powerful enough. So we're looking at probably AAA. Then you've got the base that they snap into for the remote for the main system. If you haven't seen the commercial, you'll have to take a look to know what I'm talking about. It looks like, say, a large Microsoft controller, except these two little pieces are missing that are those pieces that snap onto the outside of the main system and then snap into this controller so that you're used to playing with the same thing.
Looks a bit like a battery pack.
That thing will probably then also have to have its own battery power.
Unless it drains the two controllers for its own power.
Unless it is entirely an inert thing just used to make your hands feel better, phrasing, as you're putting those little controllers on there.
Yeah.
In that case, the little controllers then are the only things that would need to be recharged. And
Or have
it
battery
has little lights on there too that we assume are the amount of charge left in them.
Decent.
So does that mean if you're playing, you're gonna have to go, oh no, this one's about dead. I need to take it off and put it on here, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to plug in each one of these, or I'm gonna go get a AAA battery. They didn't say anything about that, and it's a big concern of how that's gonna work.
There's another issue
To
though.
me,
You have to constantly keep it on there if you want to play on your TV, right? Most people are probably going to play this Nintendo console on their TV. They may carry it around, they may have it portable, they may use it in other places. But if it's not marketed to kids, when are you going to play it? You're going to be driving most places. You've got a job, you're going to have to do something unless you want to get fired. So I don't know how often you're actually going to want to make this thing portable. Right?
so in other words, you're questioning whether they even needed to make a portable component.
To an extent. But I do see why it's fun. Take it to the park, take it to your job if you're bored, whatever. Movie theater if you don't really care. Piss off somebody next to you, whatever. On the shitter.
I think the reason for this is because I don't see it as a console.
You see it more as a handheld.
I see it as the new Game Boy Advance.
Okay, so if I switch that,
So
and
switch
see it
your
as the new Game Boy
thinking.
Advance. Okay.
Switch your thinking and see it as a Game Boy Advance, and the toaster accessory, the Nintendo toaster, is just the place that it happens to dock, so that you can play on your TV and basically play your Game Boy Advance games on the TV.
Okay.
Although again, we're talking about much more graphically advanced and much more powerful games and much greater memory. Oh, that gets us to another question, doesn't it? Much greater memory
But
than
I've got two
Game
other
Boy
things
Advance.
first.
Hit yours first. We'll go back to memory.
First,
Oh, Smith.
how fast will the battery decay? That's what I was going to say. When you put it on, not just battery life, that's going to be a problem as well. Will it last 5 hours, 3 hours, an hour, and then you're screwed?
If you're talking about
I'm talking
lifetime
about
of the battery.
actual decay of the battery lifetime. You put it on the stand, it's going to constantly charge. You've got it connected to your TV most of the time, which is why I mentioned that most of the time. People are probably going to have it on their TV, right?
If they use it as a console.
Right. Otherwise, they're going to leave it there to charge overnight. How long can you keep it there? Just leave it there, constantly charging, keeping the power going into it until eventually the battery dies.
Not so much dies as
Decays.
overcharges, basically.
Overcharges and can't charge anymore, basically.
And how expensive is that battery going to be to replace? It's going to be unique to Nintendo. You're going to have to order it from them. Okay, there's a lot of questions there. Yeah. Definitely. What was number two?
The next thing was, will they... This is more of a question, actually, as opposed to worry. But will they then market this thing
It's a worrying question.
as two different things? So there's two different price tags, right? There's the $400, there's the $300. So what if the difference is the charging stand? $300, you just get the handheld tablet thing.
You get the new Game Boy Advance.
Right. Whereas the $400 one, you get
the
stand
toaster.
and
You get
maybe even an extra controller.
You get a Game Boy Advance with a toaster.
Maybe even an extra controller.
And the Xbox controller.
Right.
And the adapted Xbox controller. So now we know it is the Game Boy Advance 2 with a toaster dock and an Xbox One controller. That would make perfect sense for the $500.
Hashtag Nintendo toaster. And it's $400.
Nin toaster.
Nin toaster.
Nin toaster.
Which is actually the original
I thought it
NES.
was
They're just kind of
$4.99.
going around. I thought it was $3.99. So.
Okay, maybe. Back to memory issues.
Memory issues.
We're not talking about the amount of memory that you could get into a tiny little cartridge. We're not worried about that anymore because you can get a terabyte onto SanDisks, and now it's tiny. So you got plenty of room there.
Not an issue with the
But
actual
they have not
cartridges
said
games.
really. The initial announcement today, I haven't seen anything about the memory options for the system itself,
I'll have to look around
nor
for that.
whether they are upgradable. If it's built in and always built in, if they're going to be two different price points because of different memory levels.
Yeah.
Really haven't heard anything about that. Maybe that's another difference between the two price points
I
that
would
they've talked
figure
about.
it's probably mostly a memory issue because it's a $100 difference and it's so high to begin with. It wouldn't really make much sense for them to just.
But
give you
because
the
memory
Game Boy
cards
Advance
are
too.
so powerful now, wouldn't it make a lot more sense to have a regular SanDisk type card that you could actually insert into the machine itself, into the main unit, that could be your memory? And then you could put as much on there as you wanted and just switch it out with another one when it got full.
Yeah. As opposed to having an actual built-in hard drive.
Instead of having built-in tiny hard drive that probably isn't going to hold anything, isn't going to be able to back up much. Of course, we're talking about cartridge-based gaming systems again.
Yeah.
Or it's actually memory card-based gaming systems, but you might as well call it cartridge-based. It'll have some save on it itself.
Yeah, we hope.
So each game will have a save. But the memory system as a whole should have a save as well. If it doesn't, it's worrying.
There's a lot of DLC.
This is worrying stuff.
There's a lot of DLC now. There's a lot of Nintendo Switch.
Direct load. Yeah,
Plus,
direct
can you
load.
imagine playing an NES game on the Go with a 900 peak screen?
No, I can't.
Neither can I. But it could be interesting.
On the go. See, again, they should have called it
On the
Nintendo Go.
Yeah.
Because they could say on the go. Play it on the go.
Ooh.
Ah! How hard is that? Another thing, though, that is very worrying,
No.
I think.
No. Watching my eyes move. Don't
Release
mind.
titles.
Ah, yes. Release titles are worrying.
We mentioned them, 5 that we know of. And those are
Assumed. And
sort of, they said confirmed, but I think a lot of people are calling them confirmed because they were in that commercial.
Right.
I don't think that necessarily means confirmed for release date.
But let's say they are.
But let's say they are. That's 5.
Just
that would
5.
still be a record low, right?
I think so. I'm not really an expert on launch games for Nintendo or anything, but
You're the closest we've got, though. And additionally, worrying about the launch titles, we have to add this to that point, is the developer kits going out basically now.
Yeah, just now.
Instead
What did we
of
say it was? 6 months?
Instead of 6 months ago. Yeah, we got 6 months now till release date, which means the developer titles, if they get done in time, are going to be garbage.
Right, unless, like you said earlier, they only come out right around Christmas.
There's going to be fluff titles probably for the release date from the independents, and it's not going to be enough to drive the system, one would hope.
Maybe if they're lucky, they can
I
actually.
don't want to support.
Yeah.
I don't want to support rushing developers.
That's a terrible idea.
So a year from
maybe
now,
if they have
like we said, Christmas of next year, you might have some really good selections on there. And Nintendo will be coming out with their second or third wave of homegrown stuff as well. And maybe you'll have a Pokemon title on there that'll really drive things. So I can see it taking off by Christmas of next year. I think the March launch date, considering just announcing it now, is a mistake. I think sticking to that launch date when you weren't willing to get the people
what they
interested
needed
in this system, and you're still coming up with way too many questions with 6 months to go on a pretty major system. A system that you're basically betting your whole company on. Would you say that?
Well,
from what you've heard,
they say it's not going to cannibalize on the 3DS, or I think they even said that about the Wii U, but I could be wrong there. But I think this is pretty well cannibalizing those markets. The Wii U is essentially dead. Especially with this. No one's going to buy it now. And, well, few people are going to buy it now. People are going to wait for the toaster. I don't even want to call it the Switch anymore. I just want to call it the toaster. Anyway, people are going to wait for the toaster and the bread. And no one's really going to care about the Wii U. As for the 3DS, they just had the new 3DS with the extra little thumb pad thing added not that long ago. It was like less than a year, maybe? I'm not sure what it was, but it was less than a year ago at least.
The other worrying thing I've got is we know it can't be backward compatible to
the Wii U games.
To the Wii U, of course. So they're going to remaster some of them, probably, and re-release them in order to truly kill the Wii.
And looking at the commercials,
I'm sure.
And looking at the commercials, it doesn't look like the 3DS cartridges can fit. So it
we
can't
didn't
be
see any
compatible
slot
there.
for, we didn't see any slot for the 3DS, which I thought that would be a great way to launch the system.
That really would. It would
Not
blow all the
not
concerns
all-
we have about the launch titles
Not
all
all
away.
DS games, just the new 3DS games.
Yeah.
The white cartridge, isn't it? White cartridge
Yeah.
3DS.
The 3DS are
So,
all
you put 'em-
large.
If you had a slot for that, you would have an immediate market, and those games could be up-powered, and then being able to play them on your TV, in addition to being able to play them in beautiful 900p on your little portable piece of toast,
Piece of toast.
would be great. And then you can plug them into your toaster
I love
to
that
play on
name.
the TV. They should just call it that. It's awesome.
I love that name. It's going to be
It's
the
perfect.
hashtag Nintendo Toast.
Hashtag Nintendo Toast.
Trying
So
to
we
fall
covered
the
our
chair.
biggest problems. We covered the biggest problems because we try and tell everybody what we feel could be problems with the system, and still not tell people not to buy the system in 6 months, because we may find out a lot more about the system. Obviously,
Right. We're waiting
in the
for
next
more.
3 months.
But
Still a few conventions, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's coming up next.
Do you have
Lost
any
track.
hopes for this system? Let's go with that next.
Hopes and dreams. Well, again,
Like, what would make you want to buy it, basically?
to 3DS compatibility. I don't know. 3DS.
Is there any game that make you want to buy it? Anything that they would say to make you
any
want
game they could put out that would make me buy it?
it? Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 exclusive on Nintendo.
Hmm.
Then I'm there for it, because that's the only way I'm ever going to play that game, apparently. And we know it's probably not going to be exclusive, but the freaking thing's been delayed so many freaking times.
Yeah.
If you did want to dominate something, do it with that.
Yeah.
Or they could, I know with you it's going to be like some Pokemon Stadium 3 or Pokemon Coliseum 2.
Thinking more like JRPG would be great. Like
We'll have those eventually.
oh, they will, I'm sure.
The third parties will get on
Like
it.
Xenoblade Chronicles?
I actually thought about Xenoblade. I want to get the Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X would be nice. Well, Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U.
I play that.
Sounds fun. But something that made me go, yeah, I'd probably want to get that eventually, at least pretty soon, would be, like he said, like Pokemon Stadium 3, especially if you had all 750 billion Pokemon.
I think we
have
mentioned
now.
it, but we did
Yeah.
Pokemon Stadium 3 with these cartridges,
Yeah.
and you do 2 different cartridges just like you do for the Game Boy games, the DS games now. I'm still stuck in the Game Boy era somehow.
He's behind, don't
the
worry.
DS
You're old.
Shut up. The DS games, it could be in 2 different ones, and one could have a cool name, one could have a cool name that's kind of mirrored, like they've been doing. And each one could have half of the characters, and then make it, trading and compatible and mobile, but still be the same basic pattern as Pokemon Stadium was.
Then you also could have
I can also see them doing something Pokemon Go related.
yeah. That's what worries me. I don't want a Pokemon Go. I don't want Pokemon Go.
But I think that's exactly what they'll do.
Probably.
'Cause the
I'm
thing
hoping more for like
the
Pokemon
thing is so
Stadium
portable. Yeah, the thing is so
3,
portable.
or Pokemon Coliseum. Coliseum.
Coliseum actually sounds like a good game.
That does. Pokemon Coliseum. Pokemon Coliseum 2.
Okay, you owe us money if you use that one, Nintendo. I already gave you bread and toaster.
Yeah. You can't take it anymore. We're
Toast and
cutting you
toaster.
off. But anyway.
Toast and toaster.
Or Pokemon XD2.
So the Nintendo Switch, I'm getting better at this, even though we've decided it's not going to be that.
No.
It is the Nintendo Toast and Toaster.
Hashtag Nintendo Toaster.
Hashtag Nintendo Toast. Because the machine itself is the toast. And the toast seems to be the important part. At least for me. That is the main part of the system.
Right.
It is Nintendo Game Boy Advance 2 Ultimate Edition. So to wrap up our Nintendo Toaster conversation,
Right. Nintendo Toaster.
I first saw everything I'd heard about it was a few mixed, questionable things that people were talking about. It did turn out pretty much the way most of the rumors said.
Most of the rumors, most of the leaks, yeah.
Most of the leaks, especially the later leaks. The early stuff based on controller
Touch weirdness, whatever that was.
Well, there's another thing. We did not talk. We did not cover.
Yeah.
One of the questions was about touchscreen.
Yeah.
There is no touchscreen application, it looks like. They never show anybody touching the screen. So if the touchscreen is totally gone from the equation, it feels like a step backward right there.
Right. And
Everybody else has touchscreen. And one of the reasons Nintendo wanted to push this system was to try and say we needed to cover the gap between people playing on phones all the time and people playing home consoles, and that this was a great way to do it. But without touch on the screen, you are going to have a heck of a time porting or importing phone-type games because they're all touch-related. So I see that as a worrying thing, that we spent all these years getting to the point where we have touch technology, and then we have this great system that is huge and ready to go, but then we take touch out of it?
For whatever reason, I don't know why, but okay.
I'm not sure that that's a great idea.
It makes you think there's probably even less of a chance of them actually having 3DS compatibility with it.
Right, which kills 3DS compatibility if you were even going to do it, which I don't think they ever plan to do, because it would kill their 3DS system line.
Right.
You could still make games, but you'd be killing the system itself, and they've spent a lot of money keeping that system alive, even after the 3DS.
But it's done very well, and a lot of their graphs are showing that it's a decline in profits.
That's why
people are buying it.
Well, it makes sense.
Fine if
it would make sense to us.
Yeah.
To make it backward compatibility with a touchscreen.
Yeah.
But you've got the money involved, the size involved of making it be able to do that.
Yeah.
The touchscreen is going to make it heavier. These are all things that they considered and must have decided not to do.
Must have, I guess.
But it seems like laziness, and it seems poor forward thinking to say that, on release day, we're going to have like 5 titles and no chance of playing games that already exist that would have really driven sales. Bad move.
Yeah, right? I was saying that they should have done. I was saying they should have done 3DS and
we
DS
find out just a little bit more. We can do another video about whether it is a good move or a bad move.
Yeah.
What they've done is this good move, this is bad move. We could break it down like that, but right now these are initial concerns. And our concerns far outweigh our excitement on the system.
They really do.
When I first saw the commercial, I was like, yeah, this is what I kind of like. And then the more the commercial went on, I was like, okay, I'm not seeing the things that I thought I would really, really like to see. And you're confusing the issues more than you're answering my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, clarifying is a great word. I don't think that word. I got the greatest. I have the best words.